That dot represents $1,000. Now watch. That is 1 million. 100 million looks like this. In 1 billion, you can't even see it properly anymore, can you? Now here's what I need you to understand before this video goes any further, and I mean truly understand it, not just nod along. There are people alive right now. People who woke up this morning in a bed just like yours, ate breakfast, scrolled their phone, who have accumulated a wealth so absurd, so incomprehensibly vast, that if you spent $1 million every single day from the day you were born, you still wouldn't run out of their money before you died. And then there's you.
You're watching this video for a reason. Maybe you're at work right now, on your lunch break, sneaking this in between emails. Maybe you're lying in bed at 1 a.m., staring at the ceiling after another day of the same routine. Maybe you're a student, deep in a course you chose because someone told you it was safe, that it would guarantee a good job. Let me guess your situation. You earn enough to survive, maybe even enough to occasionally treat yourself, but at the end of each month, after rent, after groceries, after bills, after that credit card minimum payment that never seems to go down, there is almost nothing left. And the dreams you have, the house, the car, paying off your parents' debt, traveling, actually living, not just existing, those dreams feel further away with every birthday that passes. You look at the billionaires, the young entrepreneurs, the people who seem to have cracked some invisible code, and one of two things happens inside you. You feel rage, they cheated, they got lucky, they had a head start, or you feel something quieter and more dangerous, resignation, the creeping belief that maybe this just isn't for people like you. I'm here to tell you that both of those reactions, the rage and the resignation, are completely understandable, and both of them are killing your future. Because here's what nobody is telling you. The game is not rigged against you. The rules of the game are simply different from what you've been taught, and if you're playing by the wrong rules, it doesn't matter how hard you work, you will lose every time, without fail. By the end of this video, you will know the right rules. But I need to warn you, what I'm about to say is going to contradict almost everything your school, your parents, your culture, and your society have drilled into you since childhood. And some of you, most of you honestly, will hear it, agree with it in the moment, go back to your lives, and do absolutely nothing. That is the uncomfortable truth. But for those of you who don't, for those of you who let this actually land, what's waiting on the other side is not just money, it's something far more valuable than money. Stay with me.
Before we talk about how to get money, we need to talk about what money actually is, because I guarantee you've been thinking about it wrong. Ask most people to describe their relationship with money, and they'll say one of three things. Money is what I work for. Money is what I don't have enough of. Money is the root of all evil. And all three of those answers, every single one of them, reveals a deeply broken relationship with the concept. Here's the truth. Money is not something you chase. Money is not a reward for suffering. Money is not a limited resource that some people hoard while others starve. Money is a signal. It is a signal from the market, from society, that says you have created something of value. That's it. At its most basic level, that's all money is, a signal of value delivered. Now, here's where your education failed you. The system you grew up in was designed, whether intentionally or not, to produce workers, not creators, not value generators, workers. You were taught to turn up, do what you're told, put in the hours, and collect a paycheck. And there's nothing inherently wrong with that, but here is the brutal mathematical reality of that path. Let's say you earn the equivalent of $20 an hour. You work 40 hours a week. You're disciplined. You're reliable. You show up every day. Do you know how long it would take you to accumulate $1 million at that rate? Not 1 year, not 5 years, 24 years. And that's before tax, before rent, before food, before the car repairs and medical bills, and every other unavoidable expense of simply being alive.
And at the end of those 24 years, if you somehow made it, if you somehow survived on almost nothing for a quarter of a century, inflation will have quietly eaten the purchasing power of that million until it barely resembles the dream you started with. This is not a path to wealth. This is a path to survival, and survival is not what you're here for. So what separates the people who escape this trap from the people who don't? Is it intelligence? Privilege? Luck? Let me show you something. Warren Buffett, self-made. Howard Schultz, the man who built Starbucks into a global empire, born in poverty. Oprah Winfrey, born in rural Mississippi to a single teenage mother in poverty so real she wore potato sacks as dresses as a child. Jeff Bezos, self-made. Elon Musk, self-made. Sarah Blakely, who built Spanx into a billion-dollar empire, self-made, starting with $5,000 and an idea. A report by WealthX found that 68% of the world's ultra-wealthy, those with a net worth of $30 million or more, built it themselves from nothing. 68%. So if it isn't luck and it isn't privilege, what is it? What do these people know that you don't? They have a better equation.
Here is the equation you were given. Money equals salary from a job. Simple, clean, universally accepted, and fundamentally, structurally, mathematically broken if your goal is real wealth. Here's why. A job ties your income to your time, and time, as you already know somewhere deep in your gut, is the one resource you cannot make more of. You cannot manufacture extra hours. You cannot buy them back. Once a minute is gone, it is gone forever. And the second you trade time for money, the second you say, I will give you 8 hours of my life and you will give me X dollars in return, you have placed a hard ceiling on what you can ever earn, because there are only so many hours in a day. This is why no matter how many overtime shifts you work, no matter how many promotions you chase, no matter how many pay rises you negotiate, you will always hit the wall of time, the wall of hours, the wall that says, this is all your body can give. This equation is not just limiting, it is a trap, a very comfortable, very socially accepted trap with a pension at the end if you're lucky. And the world's wealthiest people discovered something critical. They found a way to make money move independently of their time. That is the secret. That is the entire secret, and everything I'm about to tell you is just the detail of how to actually do it.
Here is the real equation. Write this down if you need to. Value delivered at scale equals wealth. That's it. 3 words that the school system never once put on a whiteboard. Let's break it down. Value. Not hours, not effort, not sacrifice. Value. The market, which is just a word for people, real human beings with real desires and real frustrations, does not pay you for how hard you worked. It pays you for what you delivered. A cleaner works physically harder than almost anyone in an office building. They sweat, they strain, they show up at 5 in the morning, and they are paid a fraction of what the accountant earns sitting at a desk. Is that fair? Argue about fairness all you like, but the market's logic is ruthless and consistent. The cleaner can be replaced by almost anyone tomorrow. The skill is widely available. The supply of people who can do the job is massive, and so the price, the wage, reflects that supply. The accountant, on the other hand, she spent years acquiring rare, specific knowledge. She can reduce a company's tax bill by hundreds of thousands of pounds. She can find legal pathways through financial complexity that most people don't even know exist. That skill is harder to find. The supply is lower. The perceived value is higher. And so she earns more. Now, here is the critical question. If the market pays you based on perceived value, how do you increase your perceived value to a life-changing degree? The answer is shockingly simple. Solve a problem. If you take nothing else from this video, if everything else I've said washes over you, let this one principle land. All money, everywhere, at every scale, is the result of a problem being solved. Full stop, no exceptions. Amazon exists because Jeff Bezos looked at the chaos of traditional retail, the travel, the limited selection, the inconsistent pricing, the slow delivery, and asked, what if I could solve all of that at once? The problem was worth billions. The solution was rewarded accordingly. Google exists because two people in a dorm room noticed that finding information on the early internet was a nightmare. That problem was worth billions. The solution was rewarded accordingly. Instagram exists because sharing photos beautifully was harder than it should have been. A billion-dollar problem, solved, acquired by Facebook for exactly $1 billion. PayPal exists because sending money digitally was still a clunky, trust-deficient mess in the late 90s. A billion-dollar problem, solved, sold to eBay for $1.5 billion, of which $165 million landed directly in Elon Musk's pocket. Do you see the pattern? Stop chasing money. Chase problems. And I already know what you're thinking. Okay, cool, so I need to build the next Amazon. I need to invent a new social network. I can't code. I have no capital. This is impossible. Stop. That pattern of thinking, that's the trap talking. That's the conditioning. That's 20 years of being told your role is to work within systems that other people build, not to build the systems yourself. Shake it off. Because here's the thing, you don't need to build the next Amazon. There are problems everywhere. There are problems in your neighborhood, in your industry, in your daily life. Problems so common, so taken for granted, that everyone complains about them and nobody is doing anything about them. And somewhere in that ignored, overlooked, someone should really fix this pile, is your opportunity. The question you need to start asking every single day is this: what do people around me desperately wish was different? Listen to complaints. Complaints are a map to money. When your friend says, I can't believe there's no good service for X, that's a signal. When your colleague says, why is it still so difficult to do Y? That is a signal. When you yourself have to do something tedious, expensive, slow, or painful that you wish someone would just solve, that is a signal. The market is speaking to you constantly. Most people walk past it every day without realizing what they're hearing.
Now, finding the problem is only part of it, because here is where most people who do try to start a business make their fatal mistake. They solve the problem in a way that is still tied to their time. Let's say you notice a real problem. People in your city genuinely struggle to find a skilled, trustworthy personal trainer. You are a fitness expert. You decide to solve this problem by becoming a personal trainer yourself. 60 pounds an hour, fully booked within 3 months. Congratulations, you have built yourself a job. A job you love, perhaps, a job that pays better than your previous one, but still a job. Because the moment you stop showing up, the money stops flowing. You are the product. Your time is still the ceiling. Now, what if instead you built a platform that connected vetted personal trainers to clients across your entire country and took a 15% cut of every booking? What if you built an app, a membership community, an online course library that teaches people to train themselves, that someone buys once and you built only once? Now, you're no longer selling your time, you're selling a system. And systems can run while you sleep. They can run in 17 countries simultaneously. They can serve 1,000 customers a day without you lifting a finger. That is scale, and scale is where the wealth lives. This is why the equation is value delivered at scale, not value delivered by you personally, one person at a time. Automation is your amplifier. Delegation is your multiplier. Systems are your engine. Once you have found your solution, your entire job becomes building the machine that delivers that solution to as many people as possible with as little of your direct time as possible. The yoga teacher who charges per class has a business. The person who sells an online yoga platform to 500,000 subscribers has a vehicle. Know which one you're building. So you've done it. You found a real problem. You built a real solution. You scaled it, systemized it, and made it work without requiring every waking minute of your existence.
Now what? Two roads, and both of them are valid. Road 1, you keep building. You've created something that works. You believe you can make it more valuable. You love what you've built, and you're not done yet. You run it, grow it, and eventually, maybe, it becomes the thing that sets you free for the rest of your life. Or, road 2, you sell. This is the acquisition moment. This is the event that most people on the outside looking in don't even know exists. The moment a larger company, a private equity firm, or a competitor looks at what you've built and says, "We want this," and they write a number with commas in it that makes your hand shake. Instagram, $1 billion, built in 18 months by 13 people. PayPal, $1.5 billion. Minecraft, $2.5 billion, built by one person in his bedroom. These events happen every single day. Not always at those numbers. Sometimes it's 5 million, sometimes 50, but to someone who built something from nothing, starting with a problem, a solution, and the courage to scale, those numbers change lives. Either road ends in the same place: freedom. And here is what I need you to hear before this video ends. None of this was ever about money. I know that sounds absurd after everything I just said, but stay with me. Think about why you want money. Not the money itself, what the money represents. What does it give you? The ability to wake up on a Tuesday and decide you're flying to Portugal. The ability to pay off your parents' mortgage and watch the relief flood their faces. The ability to say no to a career that's slowly draining you. The ability to raise your children without the anxiety of an empty account hanging over every decision. The ability to look at a dream and say yes, instead of, "I can't afford that." That's what you want. That's what this has always been about: freedom. Not the word, the actual feeling, the physical sensation of waking up without financial dread, the ability to move through the world on your own terms. And the reason time is the most important concept in all of this, the reason I've kept coming back to it, is because your life is made of time, not money, not possessions, time. And every hour spent in a cycle you didn't choose, doing work that doesn't move you, waiting for a retirement that may never feel like enough, that is an hour you are not getting back. I'm not saying leave your job tomorrow. I'm not saying burn everything down. I'm saying know what game you're playing and choose, consciously, whether it's the game you want to be playing for the rest of your life. Most of you will watch this video and return to your life unchanged. That's the honest truth, and I'm not saying that to be harsh. I'm saying it because it's what the data shows. It's what human psychology predicts, and it's what I want you to actively fight against. A small number of you will feel something shift, not a sudden explosion of motivation that fades by next week, something quieter and more durable, a new lens, a new way of walking through the world and hearing the word problem and thinking, opportunity. For those of you in that second group, here's your first assignment. Not a business plan, not a logo, not a company name. Just start listening. For the next 7 days, write down every complaint you hear, every "why isn't there something that does X?" Every frustration, every inconvenience, every repeated pain point that you or someone around you experiences. Just collect them. Don't solve them yet. Just listen. And if you want to go deeper, read The Millionaire Fastlane by MJ DeMarco. It is dense, it is confronting, and it will rewire how you see this entire subject in a way that a single video simply cannot. The equation is simple, the execution is hard, and the road is long. But at the end of it, for the ones who stay on it, is something most people spend their entire lives chasing and never find. Not money, never just money. Freedom. Welcome to Josh Word. I'll see you in the next one.